My name is Hitesh Mehta. I received my B.Arch degree from the ADD at the University of Nairobi in 1985. I followed that up with a graduate degree in landscape architecture in 1989 from the University of California, Berkeley. 70% of my professional life has been spent in private practice and 30% in academia. My office, HM Design, began in Nairobi in 1991, and we have now provided consultancy in over 64 countries in the world and spanning all 6 continents. I have to say that I've been fortunate to have had an amazing international work career. I have now worked in offices in Nairobi, San Francisco, Oakland, California, Silver Springs in Maryland, and here in Fort Lauderdale in Florida. From 1997 to 2007, I was a vice president at EDSA, which is one of the largest landscape architecture firms in the world. Whilst there, I started and led the first ecotourism planning market sector of any large company in the world. For the past 17 years, I've dedicated my professional approaches to only eco and socially friendly projects. And I was the visionary team planner and project manager for the multi-international award-winning Cross Waters Eco Lodge and Spa project in China. I believe it is one of only 5 projects in the 121-year history of the American Society of Landscape Architects, which has won awards in 2 different categories. My firm, HM Design, is currently working on environmentally and socially friendly projects in Galapagos, Philippines, Australia, Kenya, Colombia, and Dominica. So you can see we actually work all around the world. I'm a multi-international award-winning designer with awards in landscape architecture, planning, architecture, urban design, creative writing and publishing, and interior design. I've subspecialized, and our office has, in the field of protected area physical planning. And we have worked on sustainable tourism plans that protect the last remaining endangered species, such as mountain gorillas in Rwanda, tigers in India, giant pandas in China, jaguars in Costa Rica, Galapagos shark, Bali starlings, and quite a few other species. We were involved actually in the sustainable tourism plans for the whole of Western Province and the Nyanza Province in Kenya. When it comes to academia, I'm currently an adjunct professor at Florida International University of the University of International Corporation in Costa Rica and the Vatel Hotel and Business School in Madagascar. Way back in the early 90s, I was a lecturer at ADD for 4 years, and more recently, I was the external examiner at the Landscape Architecture Department at the JEQUAT. I regularly conduct research on ecotourism and eco-lodges, have written quite a few research papers, and also am an author and photographer of the award-winning Authentic Eco-Lodges, which was launched by HarperCollins in November 2010. I'm currently working on Authentic Eco-Lodges Volume 2, and I'm also the editor of the International Eco-Lodge Guidelines and the co-author of the chapters on site planning and architectural design. I joined AAK in 1986. In fact, I think my membership number is 941. So I was actually one of the earlier AAK members. And I became a fellow in 2015. I'm also, by the way, a fellow of the Royal Institute of British Architects and the American Society of Landscape Architects. I was actually the first African and the first Indian fellow of the American Society of Landscape Architects. I may possibly be the only professional with fellowships in 3 continents and 2 different professions, landscape architecture and architecture. In order to pass on your legacy, ensure that you have a sensitive succession plan. Take time to identify the people who can carry on the philosophies of your firm, and then train them and give them the liberty to make decisions. When I left Kenya, I handed over my firm to the next generation. And they then, after working for a few years, created their own firm, which many of you know to be as a Studio Infinity. And over the years, they have now been training others that have continued to set up either their own firms or hopefully will take over Studio Infinity. So this is very, very important. I would like the industry to take serious note of climate emergency and become more aware of how our selection of materials and our designs are causing global warming. The time has come when we really need to have environmental and social criteria for approval of projects. And I'm not talking about NEMA here. Choosing eco-friendly materials that are kind to the planet. Cement, for example, has one of the highest energy embodiments, and in its production results in high carbon emissions. As architects and landscape architects, we really need to take this issue seriously. The building profession is one of the most important professions there is, as it helps provide one of the 4 basic necessities in life: shelter. For the young professionals, set your sights to outside Kenya and the African continent. There is a huge scope around the world. And if you put your mind to it, the sky is the limit. If you have to broaden your skill sets by pursuing a graduate degree or a diploma, get some experience internationally, and then bring that experience back to Kenya. There's a lot of amazing things going on around the world. Asante sana.